Welcome to the World of Inventions from 1500 to 1800 by Brenda Kimberlin. We're going to start with the 16th century of the world inventions and discoveries. The first one is Conrad Gessner. He was from Switzerland. He actually invented the lead pencil in 1564. The original pencil was not made of lead, but graphite. It was a wooden tube holding a piece of graphite so their hands would not get dirty. It was a special history because of some of the people it was used by Shakespeare. Galileo was a Italian physic, astronomer, mathematician. He invented the thermoscope. It was invented in 1593. The thermoscope consisted of water in a glass bubble, and the water moved up and down the bulb as the temperature changed. The invention was not just a single invention, but a development of other inventions like the thermometer that we use today. Janssen was a Dutch lens maker who invented the first compound microscope in 1594. It was the compound microscope is one of more than one lens. His microscope consisted of two tubes that slid within one another and a lens at each end. The eyepiece was bulging outwards on both the lens. This is an advanced microscope that has 3 to 9 times the power of magnification. It was an invention that was later progressed to other inventions that we use today. And we're going to move on to the 17th century. Jean Deney was a French physician that he was the first one to fully document a human blood transfusion in 1667. He transfused the blood of a sheep into a 15-year-old boy, and he survived the transfusion. It was likely because of a small amount of blood that was actually used. He had little chance of allergic reaction. William Harvey was an English physician. He discovered how blood is pumped into the heart throughout the body. The discovery of anatomy was made in 1628. He discovered it without the use of a microscope. Anton was a Dutch scientist that was the first to complete a description of the bacteria. He was the first to see and describe what bacteria looks like under the letters of the Royal Society of England. He was the first to observe and describe a single cell, which we refer to as microorganisms today. That's very important for what we have today to discover the different diseases. Thomas Savery was from England, and he was a military engineer. He invented and patented the first crude steam engine in 1698. It was based upon the design of a pressure cooker. This contributed to more elaborate versions, and this was part of the Europe's Industrial Revolution. Moving on to the 18th century was Jethro Tull. He was an English agriculturist. He invented the seed drill in 1701. It was a horse-drawn hoe. His seed drill would sow seeds in uniform rows and cover up the seeds as he planted them. During the time, sowing seeds was done by hand, so this increased production of planting seeds, and he considered this method wasteful when you had to do it by hand. The first prototype seed drill was built from the foot pedals of his local church organ. Joseph Priestley was an English chemist. In 1767, the first drinkable man-made glass of carbonated water, which is soda water, was invented. In one experiment, he placed a bowl of water above the surface of the fermenting liquid, and it quickly developed a pleasant, sweet, acid taste, not unlike that of seltzer mineral water. This is known as carbonated water. It was fizzy water. It was plain water into carbon dioxide gas, and it dissolved. As you know, everybody drinks soft drinks, so this is where this is stemmed from. John Spilsbury, he created the first puzzle in 1767 as an educational tool to teach geography. He affixed it to a world map to a piece of wood and carved each country out to create the first puzzles. That inspired him to create different puzzles on different countries. Um, it's used Puzzles are used worldwide for different reasons, for different learning, for fun, for educational. A very interesting invention. Guillotine. He was actually a French physician who proposed in 1789 to use a mechanical device to carry out the death penalty. Even though he opposed the death penalty, he wanted a humane way to die. The actual inventor of this guillotine was a French surgeon named Anton Louis. He was actually a French surgeon. He designed the prototype. Thomas Saint was an Englishman. He developed the sewing machine in 1790. He did not advertise this invention. It was meant to sew the leather and canvas. He built this sewing machine during the first industrial revolution, but some say a working model was never built. Moving on to the 19th century was Claude Monet. He was a French military officer that invented a conical cylindrical soft lead bullets in 1849. The bullets were designed by a small iron plug and lead skirting. Its intended purpose was to expand under pressure and not bend the barrel and increase muzzle speed. It greatly increased accuracy, which helped in the Crimean War. This gentleman, Felix Hoffmann, was credited for the first synthesized medically useful form of heroin and aspirin in 1867. He worked for a German company called Bayer. He gave it to his father, who was suffering from pain of arthritis, to help with his pain. He worked so that he then asked Bayer to market the new wonder drug. Aspirin is used still today. Peter Durden was a British merchant. He developed the tin can. The tin can was invented in 1810 in London. The tin can could preserve food for a long period of time. They used a hammer and chisel to open the cans. The whole process was to be heated by any means, such as an oven, stove, or a steam bath, but most conveniently by immersing in water and boiling it. They heated it for a long time. The top was to be partly open during the whole heating and cooling process, but right after that the container should be sealed tightly by any means, such as a corkscrew and a screw cap with a rubber seal cementing. These inventions were very important to the world, and it was a very interesting project. Thank you very much.